Hey guys, it's DC here, and today I wanted to talk about AI automation and if it's going to take your future job or job in cybersecurity.
Raise the alarm!
The number one question that I've been asked recently is, will AI take over my job in cybersecurity? It's a pretty big discussion because there's more than one piece to AI, and I'm going to focus on AI automation in this video only. So there are a few components to cybersecurity that I believe will be automated by IT, and I've written down a list here so that I could remember them, because I was having to think about this last night after talking with a few people and sort of discussing what I believe will actually be automated by AI. So we have threat detection, hashing. So in the video yesterday, I mentioned hashing and how it's pretty much already automated. However, I think it'll be automated to another level. So for example, in a penetration test, the entire pen test and vulnerability check would be automated, essentially, including the hashing component or unhashing component, and as well as that, reporting on the back end. So a good example of how AI is going to take over reporting, and reporting is a massive part of CyberSec, is where I'm working at the moment. I'm building Power BI systems to do the reporting. With Power BI, you basically just feed data into Power BI and it generates a really nice looking report that's easy to understand. So that's essentially already been automated. A lot of the legwork has been taken out of that part already, which I believe will be taken further where, say for example, in a penetration test, the vulnerability scans, the unencryption and, or maybe not encryption, but hashing of hashes or unhashing of hashes, and then the generation of a report will be almost completely automated by. So as a pen tester, your job is a little bit at risk, to be honest, but there are other components of pen testing that can't be automated by AI. But going on with the list, we've got identity awareness, application control, URL filtering, DLP or data loss prevention, and port security. So those are the things that I believe will be automated by AI, and a lot of them already are. So if you have a look at any of the Checkpoint or Fortinet or Cisco or Palo Alto next generation firewalls, all of those blades or components of the firewall feature itself are already completely AI driven. A good example of this is URL filtering, where it will automatically detect bad URLs. So you just put in a category, say porn, for example, and it'll go out and find every porn website on the internet, and it uses machine learning to find new ones that are created, and anything, even advertisement banners and things like that on websites that it considers porn. It can use like a skin filter, and it can just block out all of those things. And that works for email and pretty much everything. Port security it's still a little bit old school with the way it works with, like Radius and stuff like that. But there is an AI component to that where it's automatically detecting if your device is pre-registered. So it'll know to look in a pre-registered asset inventory type thing. So it'll look in like a asset registry database, and it'll see, okay, this machine is actually a member of this domain and this workplace, and it belongs on the network. But then it'll also check that MAC address against it'll then check that MAC address against firmware and stuff like that, and make sure that it is actually belonging on the network. And to do that, it's using AI/machine learning. So AI can replace a lot of components in cybersecurity. However, I don't think it will, because human decisions still need to be made at the very highest level. At the end of the day, AI is there to take out the legwork and try and make the job of IT professionals easier. But yeah, ultimately, I still believe those final decisions will be made by humans, and that they should be. The bottom line of this discussion is that ultimately AI will take a whole bunch of CyberSec jobs, but not all of them. And the ones that it takes over, I don't know if they're going to be entirely taken over or not. That's a discussion for you guys to have and think about yourselves, I guess. But it will drastically change the industry, just like it's going to change every other industry. So an example of how AI is changing industries around the world is logistics, including taxi driving, freight, stuff like that. So you may have noticed in the news recently that Uber is trying their driverless helicopters, and they're doing one trial in Australia that I know of in Melbourne, where they're basically these giant drones. They're not even helicopters, and they're completely automated. They're driven by maps, and they just know where to go, essentially. So you put your address in, says I want to go from point A to point B, and you jump in this little helicopter and it flies you over there. And yeah, that's pretty cool, I think, but that kind of sucks for taxi drivers, even more than they've already been screwed over in Australia anyway. And you know, all these people that are buying cars and trying to get into the Uber, Didi, Lyft, Ola game, I would be a little bit worried, and I probably wouldn't have one of those jobs as a full-time career option. Now, that's a very extreme example, but I guess these sort of changes will eventually come to cybersecurity jobs. It's just that it'll change them in a different way. So I don't think it'll completely remove the job entirely. I think the jobs that are currently there will just change to match the industry and to sort of fit in with everything else that's happening. It's a very interesting space, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it and what you think, and maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think cybersecurity is completely screwed and we're all going to lose our jobs in the next 5 years. I don't believe so, but that's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. So yeah, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.
Just don't get too far.